Hi fans of The Sweet Life, I just wanted to do a little bit of a preamble about the second video on how to basics for baking and cooking. This one is more about preparation of the tins for your cake and how to get them when they don't stick. It never fails for us, and I know this is a worry for a lot of people who certainly contact me and ask me for special recipes, and they've been asked to spend lots of money on cake stuff that doesn't stick, but actually it is really easy. And then there's a recipe at the end if you stick around, and for the chocolate cake and the chocolate ganache, which you can use, which is really good. This video might be really strange because I'm doing it in several parts and putting it together, and as you all know, I'm not very technical about stuff, so it really is a little bit of a put together stuff. Please forgive me, because I hope you just enjoy the tips and everything, and see you at the end. Bye. I just thought I'd show you, which tickles me, right? I'm in my cake cafe in stand-up, okay, doing some Sweet Life videos, and I just thought I'd show you, talk about me not being high-tech. This is what I've set up so that I can take videos of this. Now, anybody who wants to contribute stands and lights and stuff, please feel free, because this is what I'm using at the moment. Look at this. I've got this old old holder of for phones with some legs on it, and I've wired it to this storage thing so that I can aim it down at my cakes, because I haven't got anything that's I haven't got anything else. So just thought I'd let you show that, and I'll see you in a bit. Bye. Hello, this is part, I can't remember because I'm doing it in sections, so it's probably part 3 or 2 or whatever. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to save lots of money by not buying expensive things that claim to stop your cakes sticking to your tins, and actually you just need it the old-fashioned way. So I've got 3 tins here, and if you carry on watching this video, I'll show you how to decorate the chocolate cake that we're going to be making, the only for Chocoholics cake. But right now I've just put some margarine on there, whichever margarine you like. You can use butter if you want to. My rule of thumb for baking is margarine for cakes, a good quality margarine only because of the different fat content, and butter for cookies. And in another video I will tell you all about why that is, and different sugars for cookies and all that sort of thing. But this is a guaranteed way to stop your cakes from sticking to your tins. So it's never failed yet, so let's just see. So the margarine that you're going to use in your cakes, use on your tins. So just grab a piece of foil or kitchen paper or anything that's good for swiping around here, and make sure you get a nice lot of the margarine on your tin, making sure that you get right into those little creases in the corners. Okay, so, and the reason I put it on here is because we use giant, in our cake cafe in stand-up, we use giant things for the Sweet Life, blocks of, I think it is 12.5 kilograms of cookie margarine for our cakes. So that was just a little bit too much to show you. So there you go. And this is going to be the quickest way of doing this. And like I said, we've never had an unsuccessful turnout yet. So, and the reason I wanted to show you this was, if you're a cake decorator, people try and sell you lots and lots of different things. There you go, so cover that. Okay, and then I'll come back to that conversation in a second. Then we've got some flour. Now you can use self-raised or plain flour, whatever you're using for your recipe, and just pop a little bit in there. Shake it all around, and then again, waste not. So let me do, if I can do it backwards. Oh, that's interesting. Just make sure it goes all the way around the edges, so it touches every little bit of that margarine that you've already put on. Give it a nice tap, because you don't want any excess. And then it goes into the next one, which means you're not going to waste any by having it all over the place. But the reason I wanted to do this one was because as a cake designer, you're always asked to spend money on lots and lots of different bits and pieces, and it really frustrates the life out of me when you can get things for less money, or just use your common sense. So this is one of those things that that you can use your common sense on. Okay, and when it comes to the last one, Again, waste not, want not. Doing it back to front is very bizarre. And I know this is not going to go all the way in there, and I am going to scoop this flower up at the end to use. Because nobody wants to waste anything, nobody wants to spend money on things they don't have to. There you go. Okay. That's the first step. And then just scoop all that up and you can use that in your cake. Okay. So it really infuriates me that we're asked to spend a lot of money on things that we don't need to. Now this is something that I learned from my mother and my sisters. Hi sisters. I have 3 elder sisters and awesome they are. This is something that we learned from our mum, and it never ever fails. It's a really, really interesting thing. But I know there are things out there now which are being advertised as, you know, the most wonderful non-stick thing, and they cost a fortune. Trust me, you don't have to. If there's anybody out there who has any baking tips or anything like that, or has any questions about baking tips, please let me know, because I'm all about saving the pennies, because we need to. So the next stage is getting some non-baking parchment, non-stick baking parchment. Okay, this is a huge big piece that I've got from our giant roll. This is the only thing that I would say would be costing you money. Non-stick baking parchment is completely different to grease-proof paper. Grease-proof paper is not going to do you any good. Because it's covered in grease, so it's a completely different thing. This is non-stick baking parchment, so this is what we're going to be using. So the easy way to do this, because I've got 3 tins, I'm going to flick it over, so we've got 1, 2 pieces there. Measure where I want my tin to be, so that again we're not going to be wasting anything. I'm just going to make that smaller and pop that on there and give it a nice crease. So that gives us 1, 2 pieces, and then I'm going to flip that over, hope you can hear me, and make that into, give it a nice fold and make that into 3 pieces, okay? Now, it's easy enough to keep it single and to cut out one and then cut out another, but if you're thinking about saving time, which we always are, then this is a really good way of doing that. So you pop your tin on your now folded non-stick baking parchment. Take a pencil. Pencils are non-toxic now, so it's fine to use those. And just draw around the bottom of your tin. Okay, like so. Scissors. And just cut around that line. It doesn't have to be precisely on the line. Don't be, you know, overzealous with the line. It just has to be about. Okay. And then, like magic, you have 3 separate pieces of this non-stick baking parchment. So then you pop those in the bottom of your tins, already prepared. Okay. And that, once you make your cake batter and pop it into the cake tins as is, and level it out and everything and cook it, once the cakes are cooled, this will make sure that your cakes just pop out really easily. And if you wait till if you carry on to the end of the video, you will see that actually happen with chocolate cakes, which is what this is going to be made into, chocoholic cake. So we've got recipes at the end and things like that. So this is another section of the video. Please subscribe and press the button if you want to be, I think I've got nearly 60 subscribers, so I'm really happy. Okay, see you later. So this is what happens when we try and take them out of the cake pans. Okay, so literally get a spatula. This is just an offset spatula, which is really good for cake decorating if you're going to be doing that. But a sharp knife, anything like that, but be very careful and literally run it around the edge of your cake, pushing against the tin as you do. Okay, I'm going to do all 3 so you can see how easy this is to pop out with no bells and whistles, no really expensive non-stick stuff. There we go, just a second. And this is the third. And like I said, this is a cake for our shop. I'm going to cover it in chocolate ganache and put nice chocolate sticks on it. So literally, there you go. Could it be easier? Peel the paper off. This one's in 2 pieces because we don't like waste. Okay, let's do another one. All right. Easy peasy. Peel the paper off. Let's do the third, so it's, you know, it's not a fluke. Ah! Peel the paper off. See, we don't waste anything here. Okay, so, and that's what it looks like underneath. And then you just wash those in hot soapy water. And I recommend that here's a tip for you, okay? Instead of, once you've dried them or air dried them on your sink, draining board, while your hot oven is still warm, pop them upside down in your oven, crank the door open just a little bit of your oven, don't close it because that'll cause too much condensation, and just let them air dry in your oven for maybe half an hour, and that will mean that, especially if you're not using enamel ones, if you've got some inherited tins, which we all have, special perfect tins that you use all the time, it'll mean that not only does it dry really well in these corners here, but if you've got to stack them up, what happens is if there's a slightly damp and you stack them up like that to store them, and it's damp, sometimes you're going to get some rust in there. So if you air dry them in the oven, that'd be cool. Okay, I shall see you in a second because I've already told you that I'm doing this demonstration in more than one section because obviously I'm making things at work. So we do them when we do them. Okay, so see you next time. See you in a minute. Hi again, another section of this video. I hope everybody's fine and not too bored yet, but I thought what I'd do is to show you just what I'm going to be doing with these chocolate cakes. They're for the shop, for the cafe. So the Sweet Life, as you know, is I do it in various places, do my recordings at home and here. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with this. If you're looking for the recipes and quantities, I will post them at the end of this video, and then what I'll do is I'll just write them down and then take photos and then pop them up there and you can use them. Okay, so this is a chocolate cake, and this gorgeous yumminess here is chocolate ganache, which I have added extra double cream to because, hey, who wants squirty cream? And I have whipped till it's really, really light. Like I said, this is going to be we call it the Chocoholic cake, only for chocoholics. That's the actual title of the cake for the cafe, and so I'm going to make this. So let's just go ahead and I'm going to get a different big spatula because it'll take me ages to scoop it out with those. Again, an offset spatula, which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I do have a turntable here. But you don't need to, you just put it on a plate and turn the plate around. It's just that, you know, obviously we have them here. And I am very messy, so be prepared for me to get messy. There is no design to this cake. All my cakes are normally, when I make them for weddings and celebrations, they're all designed, so there's a lot of intricate stuff on them. But because this is for the cafe and it's meant to be just for chocoholics, there's really no design for it. And I think that what I want to do is, let me show you, I'm going to keep talking, but I put this cake on a board, okay, relevant to the size, and put some chocolate ganache in the middle. And can you see this cake here? There's the round side, which is the top when it's baked, and the flat side, which is the bottom when it's baked. And because I want a flat cake, I'm going to put the top side, which is the rounder side, on the bottom, making sense, so that we have a flatter surface. Okay. Anyway, so this cake is literally just going to be covered in chocolate. So it's going to be a rough and ready cake. Not very, what should I say? I'm not quite sure how to describe this cake. There's no finesse with it because it's about the chocolate and the cake, and it's sort of meant to look rustic and homemade because we make all our cakes here anyway. So you'll see what I mean by that in a second, and you know, I'm just going to cover everything. So there's the next layer. You can see I'm not being too pretty with it because I'm going to cover it all in the ganache anyway. And there's the third layer of cake. So the top, which is the rounded end, is going to go on the top there. Okay. Now I want that to be sort of fairly straight. So I'm just going to push it down and with my eye sort of straighten the sides up. That's how we do it. Yeah. So let's do this. So this is a cake. I mean, literally, if you're looking to impress people but don't feel as though you've got the skills to do lots of intricate things on cakes for birthdays and things like that, this is something that actually is really good. I think I might have too much on there, but let's start with that. So give it a go. It's not, the recipe is really easy, the ganache is really easy, and it just tastes fabulous. So can you see I've just plopped a lot of that ganache on the top, and now I'm just sort of pushing it over the edges and spreading it up and down. Excuse me, my voice is going to have a drink here. A little bit of Diet Coke, but you know, other ones are available. And I'm just gonna move that all the way down quite roughly, and then we'll smooth it out in just a second. I'm trying to give everybody the easy peasy way to do everything, because I think cooking and baking can be very daunting for people. I've said this a lot, and actually it isn't. Just be brave. Please subscribe to my channel. I think I've got nearly 60 subscribers. I was getting very excited. And press the bell, because I believe that bell tells you whenever I post another one. Okay, so you can see that's really rough, and I'm just going to get my spatula, my offset spatula, and just pop it onto there and run it round to make it a little bit smoother or more even. And you can see I'm scraping off some of it, and some of it's going on the board, and I'll see to that in just a second. Like I say, I'm trying to make this as easy as possible without being too technical. Let's scrape that off. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I am tempted to pop a little bit in my mouth of this ganache. And who wouldn't? It's Belgian chocolate, double cream. It's glorious. There you go. So that's perfect. So can you see I've got this piece of parchment paper here? That's just to help me with my tidy up at the end of it. Just scrape that off, because as you see, when I go around with the spatula, there's some on the board, on the rotating board. I think this is called a lazy Susan. You don't have to spend, if you're looking for something that's like, you know, for your cake decorating that rotates, don't spend lots and lots of, it's just a bit offset there, so I'm just going to move it over. Don't spend lots and lots of money on lots of cake decorating things. Go to that, I think this one is from a well-known Swedish store, and it's in the kitchen section, and I've got lots of them which are lighter colour as well, and you can get them from there. Just they're called Lazy Susans. You can get them online at that fabulous online store beginning with A. Am I allowed to say the company names? I'm not sure. Anyway, so that's the whole thing covered in chocolate ganache. This leftover stuff, actually, which is in here, my staff will be eating that throughout the day, because they do love it when it's time to ganache things. This ganache is, like I said, it's very, very loose. It's not one that's going to set very hard. Okay, let me just give my hands a wash. Let me just give my hands a wash. There you go. Hand to dry. Right. Now, again, this is for the shop, and it's a chocoholics cake, and that's how we label it. So here we go. So I'm literally just going to put some of these around the cake. Now it's very tall, this cake, so I'll start with much taller than the flake or chocolate sticks. I find that very odd that you can't say stuff. I'm just going to tip those out and make that easier for me. So I'm going to go around and push those into the chocolate ganache. And like I said, you can make anything you want to. Okay, we just happen to have these in our cafe So I'm going to use these, and I've got some Maltesers there, but you can do anything you want. If it's for children, you could pop Smarties on it, marshmallows on it, anything you like. This is just going to be lots of chocolate. Just make sure they're close together, push them into the soft ganache. You don't have to have anything to make them stick, because they will stick. Like I said, the chocolate ganache is it's not a firm one. It's not something that I use chocolate ganache underneath my wedding cakes and celebration cakes, but it's a different formula, a different mix of ratios for the chocolate ganache. This one is heavy on the cream and has been whipped a lot to make it very light and very loose. So it's very good for sticking things onto. So let's just see. It does use quite a lot of chocolate, which is why we call it Just for Chocoholics. Okay. So just keep going around. You can use, like I said, anything else you want. You can put biscuits on it. That'd be nice if people are really into biscuits. Push it on a little bit. I'm doing this away from me, which is really difficult, I find. It feels like I'm doing this everything back to front, because I can't actually see if they're lining up properly, and I'm hoping they are. Have I asked you to subscribe? I hope so. If you have any requests about any other basic 101 skills that you'd like, then please message me. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now I've got all this left here. I'm just gonna break them up and let's have some of them sticking over the top. I don't want them all the way around. Maybe I do, I don't know. Let's see, break them in half, stick them on. This is not supposed to look perfect. I like the fact that they're different heights and little crumbly bits. It looks, I don't know, I like things like that aren't symmetrical. The lovely Mr. G finds it very funny, I think. I'm turning that upside down just to make it a little more or less symmetrical. Get that, stick that on there. I'll come back to this one in a second. When we're putting things, rearranging furniture or ornaments, and I have to admit I don't have that many ornaments, but I have this really weird thing that I don't like things symmetrical on mantelpieces or pictures. I have an odd number thing. Maybe I'm a bit weird, but tell me if you're if you're like that as well. But I like 3s and 5s, and I think, and even on cakes, I think things look better with 3s and 5s. If I'm arranging flowers on a cake that we've made, like roses or something like that, I'll tend to put them in 3s, and then leaves and other flowers around it. And I just think it looks more random, and I like random. So things are going to be sticking up and sticking down, and I think this is going to just give a giant sugar rush to whoever buys this. I want a taller one there and a shorter one. Does that work? No. Okay, so taller one and shorter one. There we go. That's better. I don't want them to be uniform. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Right, so give those a push in. Make sure all the gaps are covered. That's that one there, which I said I would come back to. Pop that in there. Lovely. Oh, I want this now. Okay, so, and I have got some Maltesers here, which I am just going to throw onto the top. And spread out. So popping them all around, making sure that you have enough equally per portion. There. How is that? Let's bring that a little bit closer so you can see how delicious that's going to be. Okay, so that's the easy peasy thing. I think what I'll do is I'll just add even more chocolate. Let's just let's just put some in here as well. Oh my word. Chocoholic cake. This actually, when we have this in our cake cafe, because it tastes so good, and we don't have it very often, if I'm really honest. We do lots of other cakes, but this one is the most popular, and we have people ringing us up to see whether we have any chocoholic cake in there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so that's going to go onto our counter, and now that's taken me less than 15 minutes to decorate that cake, because it's just a fun cake that is going to taste good. Okay, so I'll see you in the next segment. Okay, bye. This is the recipe for the chocolate cake that you saw me making earlier on. This is for 2 8-inch tins. I think the tins I used were thin ones. I can't remember the diameter, the depth of them, but you can use any tins. If you use a thicker tin, like a 3-inch or something like that, then just up the baking time. But remember, all ovens are different. So please just keep checking, all right? And if you need any tips or you need a recipe for a 10-inch maybe, let me know. Okay, I'll show you the ganache next. So here it is. Yeah, this is the ganache, chocolate ganache. This should do the 8-inch for the chocoholic cake. I melt my chocolate in the microwave because it's easier in our cake cafe. If you want to do it over bain-marie, then do that. Obviously, just keep an eye on it. Make sure the water doesn't touch the bowl on top of the saucepan. If you do it in the microwave, which I find it easy, do it in stages. So do it for like 30 seconds, give it a mix, another 30 seconds, give it a mix. Be patient with it. You can never rush chocolate, so do that. And then let it cool completely. So probably do it the night before and let it cool overnight completely. Before you start to whip it, otherwise it'll just go to pot. Okay, hope this is helpful. See you in the next one. Bye.